I never thought I'd see my parents again. After they left me when I was just 8 years old, that day is stuck in my mind. Forever. Mom and Dad dropped me off at Grandma Rose's house with a small backpack of clothes. They promised to come back soon. We just need some time to sort things out, Emma, Mom said, avoiding my eyes. Be good for Grandma. But they never came back. The first few months were the hardest. Every day, I sat by Grandma's window after school, watching cars pass by, hoping one of them would be my parents. Every night, I cried myself to sleep, wondering what I did wrong, and why I wasn't good enough for them to stay. But Grandma Rose was my saving grace. You're perfect just as you are, my sweet girl, she'd tell me, wiping away my tears. Some people aren't ready to be parents, and that's not your fault, but I'm here, and I'll always be here. Grandma Rose wasn't like other grandmothers. She was smart, classy, and, as I found out later, very wealthy. But you wouldn't guess it from how she lived. Our home was simple. She drove an old Toyota, and she worked as a high school principal because she loved helping students. The only signs of her wealth were her love of art and the way she'd sometimes casually talk about her investments while reading the financial papers. With Grandma's care, I thrived. She supported my love of science, got me tutors when I struggled in math, and celebrated every little win. When I won first place at the state science fair at 13, she threw a big party and invited all my friends. That's my girl, she said proudly, hugging me tight. You're going to change the world someday. Life became steady and comforting, just Grandma and me. She never spoke badly about my parents, but always reminded me their absence wasn't my fault. Sometimes people make choices they can't undo, she said, but those choices reflect on them, not on you. Eventually, I stopped thinking about my parents, stopped waiting for them, and stopped caring why they left. I had Grandma, and she was enough. When I turned 18, Grandma threw me a lovely party at her favorite restaurant. She invited all my friends and gave me a beautiful gift, a delicate gold necklace with a small key pendant. This is more than just jewelry, Emma, she said. Keep it safe. You'll understand when the time is right. I didn't know then that it would be our last celebration together. 3 months later, Grandma Rose collapsed at school. By the time I got to the hospital, she was gone. The doctor said it was a heart attack, quick and painless, but my pain was anything but quick. It hit me like a storm and left me empty inside. The funeral was beautiful, just as Grandma would have wanted. Her former students filled the church, sharing stories about how she changed their lives. I sat alone in the front row, holding the key necklace she had given me, trying to stay strong like she always taught me. That's when I saw them. I found my parents had walked into the church as if they belonged there, like they hadn't abandoned me a decade ago. Mom's hair was grayer, and Dad had put on weight, but I recognized them immediately. My heart stopped, then started racing. They made their way toward me, their faces full of what looked like concern. Emma, sweetheart, Mom said, reaching for my hand. I pulled away without thinking. We came as soon as we heard, she continued. We're so sorry about your grandmother. Dad nodded solemnly. We know it's been a long time, but we're here now. You come home with us. Of course, you're still a minor for a few more months, and we're your legal guardians. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. 10 years of silence, and now they wanted to act like we were a happy family. I'm not going anywhere with you, I said, my voice shaking with anger. Grandma Rose was my home. Now, Emma, Mom said sharply, her tone reminding me of my childhood. Don't be difficult. We're your parents. You don't have a choice. Actually, a deep voice interrupted. She does. We all turned to see a tall man in an expensive suit approaching. He carried a leather briefcase and had a calm but firm expression. I'm James Morrison, Rose Montgomery's attorney, he said. We need to discuss your grandmother's will. My parents' expressions changed instantly. Mom's eyes lit up with interest she couldn't quite hide, while Dad nervously straightened his tie. Of course, Dad said smoothly, we're her only living relatives after all. Mr. Morrison didn't react. Let's step into a private room, he said. There are some matters we need to address immediately. As we followed him, I felt my hand instinctively clutch the key necklace Grandma had given me. Somehow, I knew things were about to change. I just didn't realize how much. The private room at the church felt small, the air heavy with tension. Mr. Morrison sat across from us at a polished wooden table, carefully arranging papers from his briefcase. My parents flanked me, pretending to be concerned but unable to keep their eyes off the documents. Before we started, Mr. Morrison looked at me. "Miss Emma, could you show me your necklace?" My parents looked confused, but I reached for the key pendant and held it up. Mr. Morrison nodded, a faint smile crossing his face. "Perfect. Now, let me read the terms of Rose Montgomery's will." He cleared his throat and began to read. The legal wording washed over me until one sentence made my heart stop. "To my beloved granddaughter, Emma Grace Montgomery, I leave my entire estate, including all properties, investments, bank accounts, and business holdings, currently valued at approximately $47 million. The room erupted in chaos. $47 million. Mom's face turned red with anger. "That's impossible. Rose was just a school principal." Dad slammed his hand on the table. "This is ridiculous. We're her only children. How could she leave everything to a teenager?" Mr. Morrison stayed calm. "There's more," he said. "The will states that Emma is to be legally emancipated immediately, and a trust will be set up in her name. The key she wears opens a safety deposit box with additional documents and instructions." My mind was spinning. Grandma Rose, me humble, Toyota driving grandma is worth $47 million. Mom snatched the will from the table, her voice icy. "This was signed just last month. We'll contest it. Emma is still a minor. We're her legal guardians, and we have rights." "Actually, Mr. Morrison interrupted, you gave up those rights 10 years ago." He pulled out another paper. "This is a copy of the abandonment charges Rose filed against you both. After you left Emma, you never responded to the court summons, so she was granted full legal custody. You haven't been Emma's guardians for a very long time." I watched my parents' faces shift. The fake concern disappeared, replaced by pure greed and anger. Mom tried again, her tone syrupy sweet. "Emma, honey, you don't understand what you're doing. Let us help you manage this. We're family." The word family tasted bitter. Where was family when you left me? Where was family for the past 10 years, while Grandma Rose raised me? Dad jumped in, speaking quickly. "We were young. We made mistakes. We were struggling. But we're here now. We can make it right." "Make it right?" I stood up, shaking with rage. "You're only here because you found out about the money. Did you even care that Grandma died? Did you ever care about me?" Their silence said it all. Mr. Morrison cleared his throat. "There's one more thing. Rose left you a letter, Emma." He handed me a sealed envelope. "She asked that you read it alone." Clutching the envelope, I walked out of the room, ignoring my parents' protests. I found a quiet corner of the church, sat it down, and opened the letter with trembling hands. "My dearest Emma, if you're reading this, I'm gone, and you've just learned the truth about our family's wealth. I know this is a shock. I kept the truth hidden for many reasons, but mostly to protect you and let you grow up understanding the value of hard work and kindness. I watched your parents choose money over love many times. They abandoned you because I refused to fund their extravagant lifestyle. They chose wealth over their own daughter, and in doing so, they gave me the greatest gift, you. The key I gave you opens more than a safety deposit box. It opens the door to your future. I've made arrangements for everything. The house is yours. Your college fund is secure. The family business will be waiting when you're ready. But most importantly, remember this, you are loving it for your inheritance, but for who you are. The quiet strength that helped you survive being abandoned has also prepared you for this responsibility. Don't let your parents manipulate you. They'll try, but you're stronger than they think. You're a Montgomery woman, and we don't break easily. All my love, Grandma Rose." Tears streamed down my face as I finished reading. Even in death, Grandma Rose was protecting me, guiding me, and loving me. I touched the key around my neck, understanding everything at last. When I returned to the private room, my parents were still arguing with Mr. Morrison about contesting the will. They fell silent when I entered. "Emma," Mom began, but I held up my hand. "I want you to leave," I said, my voice steady. Both of you, you're not welcome here. Now listen here, Dad snapped, his anger rising. But Mr. Morrison cut in. Should I call security? He asked calmly. As the sole heir and property owner, Emma has the right to have you removed. They stared at me, realizing they had lost not just the money, but any chance of controlling me. This isn't over, Mom hissed as they laughed. You regret this. I watched them go, feeling calm for the first time. What happens now? I asked Mr. Morrison. He smiled. Now we visit that safety deposit box. Your grandmother left very detailed instructions for what comes next. Shall we? As we left the church, I saw my parents arguing in the parking lot. They'd lost everything that they ever truly had it. Their choice to prioritize money over love had finally caught up with them. I touched the key around my neck and smiled. Grandma Rose had given me more than an inheritance, had given me the strength to stand on my own and face whatever came next. Something told me this was just the beginning. At First National Bank, the safety deposit box held everything Grandma Rose had promised and so much more. With Mr. Morrison's help, I went through its contents, property deeds, stock certificates, and detailed plans for the family business, Montgomery Investments, a company I hadn't even known existed. But one item stood out, a USB drive labeled "Watch Me First." Mr. Morrison plugged it into his laptop. Grandma Rose's face appeared on the screen, healthy and full of life. Emma, my darling girl, she began, her warm smile lighting up the room. If you're watching this, everything had happened just as I expected. Your parents came to my funeral, didn't they? Trying to take what was never theirs. I gasped. Even after her passing, Grandma Rose had predicted exactly what would happen. Emma, there's something you need to know about your parents. They didn't just abandon you. They tried to steal everything from me first. She explained how my father, her own son, and my mother had attempted to transfer all her assets to themselves. While she was away on a business trip, they thought she was just a naive school principal, unaware she was the one who built Montgomery Investments from scratch. When I discovered their scheme, I gave them a choice: stay and live modestly, learning the value of hard work, or leave. They chose to leave. They thought abandoning you would force me to beg them to return. They never understood that by leaving you, they gave up the greatest treasure of all. Tears streamed down my face as Grandma Rose continued. I've watched you grow into an extraordinary young womankind, intelligent, hardworking, everything they're not. That's why I know you're ready for this responsibility. She then gave detailed instructions about the company, the properties, and most importantly, the Montgomery Foundation. The Montgomery Foundation provides scholarships for abandoned children. You'll be its new director. Use our wealth to help others like yourself. Emma, that's our true legacy. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind. Mr. Morrison introduced me to the board of Montgomery Investments, a group of professionals who deeply respected Grandma Rose. They welcomed me warmly and promised to guide me as I learned the ropes. My parents, however, didn't give up easily. They hired lawyers, contested the will, and even tried to claim Grandma was mentally unstable when she wrote it. But Grandma Rose had been meticulous. Every document was flawless, and their attempts failed. 3 months later, they made a final, desperate move. They stormed into the Montgomery Investments office, causing a scene in the lobby. "We're her parents," Mom shouted as security held them back. "She can keep us out." I approached calmly, dressed in one of Grandma's elegant suits, the key necklace still around my neck. "Actually, I can't," I said firmly, "and I will. We'll go to the press," Dad threatened. "We'll tell everyone how you stole our inheritance." I smiled, channeling Grandma Rose's quiet strength. "Go ahead. Tell them how you abandoned your 8-year-old daughter. Tell them how you tried to steal from your own mother. I'm sure the press will love that story." They deflated, realizing they'd lost everything than just the money, but any chance of controlling me. "Goodbye," I said firmly. "Don't come back." As I watched them leave, I touched the key around my neck, feeling Grandma's presence with me. That evening, I approved the first round of scholarships from the Montgomery Foundation. 20 children from broken homes would have the chance at a better life. Sitting in Grandma's old office, now he looked at her photo on the wall and smiled. She had given me more than just an inheritance. She had given me purpose, strength, and the power to help others. Grandma's old Toyota still sits in my garage. Even though I could buy any car I want, it reminds me of where I came from and of the humble, hardworking woman who taught me that true wealth isn't about money. It's about how you use it to make the world better. Sometimes, I wear her old principal blazer to board meetings. The board members who knew her always smile when they see it. They understand I'm not just Rose Montgomery's heir, I'm her legacy. As for my parents, they moved to another state, telling anyone who will listen about their ungrateful daughter, but their words no longer hurt me. I know who I am. I'm Emma Grace Montgomery. Like my grandmother before me, I choose love over money, kindness over greed, and helping others over helping myself. That's what real family does.